Tuesday, October 20th at 7 on Your View. You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. It's Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, along with Grande and the Brown Man. We started off the show today, and we were talking a lot of basketball because tonight is the opening night of the NBA, and we'll actually get deeper into it in just a little while. But I do want to say that I want to get into some football stuff, and then, like I said, we'll get into some basketball stuff because the games are coming up, and we definitely want to talk about it. I mean, two really big games tonight. If you're a sports fan, you got a lot of sports television on in the middle of the day, Dodgers and Braves while we're on the air right now. And then you're going to have Milwaukee against Brooklyn a little bit later on. And then we're going to have the Lakers against Golden State. And all of this, by the way, I know tonight for me, I'm going to be back to the same routine. There's a soccer game going on in front of me at Mesa College, and there's a basketball game on my phone that I'll be watching. So, get back to some hoops here in just a second. This segment of Kaplan and Crew is being brought to you by iThriveMD, ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. And I really want all the great friends to know that you call and make an appointment at 858-240-1497. You get your testosterone levels checked for free. And if you need a treatment of testosterone, the first 3 months, 50% savings, but you got to get in the month of October because that's it. It's the month of October. Then you're going to get 3 months for free, which is perfect timing because you got Thanksgiving and you got Christmas and New Year's, and you want to be as healthy as you can be going into the new year. And I'll talk more about iThriveMD later on. But guys, I'm still working, just so both of you guys understand. I'm still working on finding out if we're going to get to the Rams-Lions game this Sunday. I put in a request through a friend of mine who works for the Rams. I told him I need 4 tickets and parking passes. And he said this to me. He said, I'm guessing that you don't just want like 4 nosebleeds like you had when you went to see the Browns play the Chargers a couple weeks ago. I'm guessing you want like nice seats and easy access to parking. And I'm like, yeah,
Correct.
yeah, I do. However, beggars can't be choosers right now. And I really want to get us in the stadium. Now, look, there's a couple other games. I think the Rams play, they play the Lions. Then I'm trying to remember who they play next. I think it's on the road, and it's, again, another team that's not very good. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then they come back and they play the Titans. If we don't...
They play the Texans?
Yeah, I'm not... But I think the Texans may be in Houston. You'll have to check me on this.
Yeah,
but I think
the next game is against the Titans.
Right.
Sunday Night Football.
Okay, so if we don't go to this Lions game against the Rams, then we'll be working on going to the game against the Titans. Because based on what I saw last night,
yes.
Because, hey, look, I just want to see this. I now want to see, you talk about a guy like Derrick Henry being a beast, an absolute monster, a guy who's 6'4" and 245 and runs the way he does. I'm curious to see, the Rams' run defense has not been very good so far to start the season. And when you have to take an Aaron Donald, who's 6 foot 275, and put him on a guy like Derrick Henry, who's 6'4", 245, that's a matchup that I know I really want to see. I feel like this Lions game, very anticlimactic, even though it's considered the Jared Goff welcome home game. Couple of things.
That's
One,
my question.
Yeah, he may not play. I mean, it is conceivable Jared Goff doesn't play. And 2, I actually think the much better game is the Rams versus the Titans on Sunday Night Football, and I have no problem with the game ending at, call it 8:45, 9 o'clock, and not getting home till 11:30 on Sunday night. So I'm putting it out there in the universe that I've put in a request for Lions-Rams. But fellas, I got to be honest, I'm much more interested in the Rams-Titans, which I think is 2 weeks out. So putting that out there for you.
I myself have no interest whatsoever in the Jared Goff homecoming game. But, I do think that we would probably get better seats for that game. Don't you say, Scott Kaplan? I mean, if we're talking about nosebleeds, I think that's an easier ticket to get than Titans.
The Lions won't travel. They're bad. It's going to be a blowout.
And I don't think there's this giant homecoming parade for Jared Goff.
Right.
No, not at all.
I think
it's not it won't be sold out.
I would say Rams fans were excited to see him leave.
Yeah, I don't, Browner, I think the game will be sold out because I think when you have a new stadium.
The first year.
Yeah, when you have a new stadium,
cheap tickets.
people want to go because they just want to check out the experience. And so there's that honeymoon. And then, if the team eventually isn't very good, people will stop showing up. They'll not want to deal with traffic. They won't want to pay the prices, et cetera, et cetera. But I'd say in a new ballpark or a new stadium, you've probably got at least a 3-year honeymoon where people just want to go in and check it out for the first time.
Tickets
So
are you can just straight from the website. You can get tickets right now for $69 this
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, and listen, and by the way, as much as the three of us were talking about Derrick Henry versus, Aaron Donald, I don't necessarily think that the LA football fan or the Rams fan is kind of interested in the matchup as we are. They're just going to support their team or check out the stadium.
Well, dude, if the Titans keep winning, which I think they have an easy game next week, I got to look it up.
That was a big win last night.
Oh no, the Titans play the Chiefs.
It
So
was a
if the
huge
Titans-
win. You're so right, Browner. It was a huge win last night. And as much as you
Dude, the
we
Titans
all-
were a playoff team. Like I think we discounted them because they lost to the Jets, and that just
Which they
anytime you lose-
deserved.
right? And so anytime you have a loss like that, like you're just never gonna think that they're a good team.
Mhm.
But the Titans are a playoff team, and if anything, I don't know how many people think. Obviously, he's been hurt, but I don't know how many people. Julio Jones, the addition of Julio Jones instead of Corey Davis being there. I mean, AJ Brown is a legitimate top 10 receiver in the
True.
league. Ryan Tannehill is not asked to do very much because they have Derrick Henry, but he's able to. So
Yeah, I got to tell you, Brian Tannehill was below average last night, man.
Yeah,
that
it
was all
was.
Derrick Henry.
no, but I'm saying like when defenses are able to lock in to Derrick Henry, Tannehill is available to throw the rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll
and,
give you
and
that.
he's an underestimated quarterback because in his days in Miami, remember this was a guy that was drafted out of Texas A&M, and prior to moving to quarterback, he was a wide receiver. So guys don't move to quarterback in college and then become first round draft choices in the NFL unless they're exceptionally talented. And he was proving in Miami to not be that. But since he's gotten to Tennessee, remember he dethroned. I'm putting that in quotes. Marcus Mariota, who was their first round draft choice. So the
Mhm.
Dolphins gave up on Tannehill, the Titans gave up on Mariota, and Tannehill found a new home in Tennessee. And Mariota is at this point just a backup to the
Hurt.
Raiders, So I know that this Jared Goff homecoming is not really as big of a deal. Now, look, if the Lions were all of a sudden a 4-2 football team, and you go, wow, Jared Goff got there, they've got this whole new coaching staff, and look at how he's thriving, then it might be really interesting. But the fact is, the Lions stink. They're 0-6. They're coming to LA to take on the Rams, who are 4-2, or are they 5-1? 5-1. And
5-1.
and they're one of the best. They're considered to be one of the best teams in the NFC. So just the same way that last week the Rams destroyed the football giants in New York, I would expect them to do the exact same thing against Detroit. But the only thing is, Detroit has put up really great fights this
They
year.
play hard.
Yeah.
So last week,
Yep.
so there's so many things to go around with Jared Goff like this.
Mm-hmm.
His record with Sean McVay. You seen this stat?
No, tell me.
42-20 when
Mhm.
Sean McVay is his head coach.
Mhm.
Winless otherwise.
Okay.
Well, Jeff Fisher sucked. Let's not do that.
0-5, 0-5
but-
with Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
0-4 with Jeff Fisher. 0-3 with John Fossil.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what though, Browner? To me, here's the thing: forget about what he did before McVay. Okay,
I agree.
just forget about that. That's a early in his career and a coach that really didn't want to play him, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
To me, here's the thing about Jared Goff right now. Everybody wants to put the blame on Jared Goff. Can I ask everybody a question here? Were the
Question?
Detroit Lions good when Matthew Stafford was their quarterback?
No.
No. He led them. Matthew Stafford was so good, he left them to a winless season before.
So look, all I'm saying is this. Let me
Great.
show. Let me play this for everybody. So Dan Campbell is the coach of the Detroit Lions. He's a first-time head coach. His offensive coordinator, let's not forget, is Anthony Lynn, the failed Chargers former head coach, a guy who really was a running backs coach in his career. He got elevated to offensive coordinator one season, got elevated to interim head coach the same season, and then got the Chargers head coaching job. I mean, it made no sense, in my opinion, that if you're a first-time head coach in the NFL, that you go get an offensive coordinator that has very limited background in play calling. I'm going out and I'm trying to find a quarterback whisperer. I'm going
All
out
you-
to try and find somebody that really knows how to work with the quarterback and has experience calling plays. And Anthony Lynn has neither.
All you
This-
need to know about
wait, remember this.
Anthony-
Go ahead, because I think you're going to say what I was about to say. Say it.
All you need to know about Anthony Lynn, y'all know I love Anthony Lynn, is that he did not put Justin Herbert in. It literally took a medical malpractice injury for him to put Justin Herbert in the game. Like, that's all you need to know about his offensive prowess. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. So if Anthony Lynn couldn't tell that Justin Herbert was a better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor, now you're asking
Significantly
Anthony
better.
Lynn, right? Now you're asking Anthony Lynn to coach Jared Goff. I mean,
Yeah.
in a franchise that this is where quarterbacks go to die. You know? Here, play.
I want to apologize to Matt Stafford. He wasn't the quarterback when they went winless. Sorry.
wasn't?
What year was that?
Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, no.
It was a mixture of Orlovsky and other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I
Oh.
can't imagine. I mean, Orlovsky was not like the
No,
starter
but I
going
mean,
into the
listen,
season.
when Stafford left the Lions, they were a bad Lions team. They were bad.
Right. They were so bad that he wanted out. They wanted a new coaching staff. And look, the Detroit Lions have been a traditionally terrible NFL franchise. So now you've got a first-time head coach. You've got an inexperienced offensive coordinator. You've got a quarterback that you essentially took not because you thought he was going to be a star. You took Jared Goff for a few reasons. Stafford wanted out. You were willing to accommodate him. The only way to do it was to take on Goff's salary. But really what you got was first-round draft choices, multiple, coming for the future. And you thought Jared Goff was serviceable, which he is serviceable.
Yes.
He's a serviceable starting NFL quarterback. Give him weapons and a good play caller and a winning environment, and he was successful for the Rams. He didn't take them to the next level, and they decided that he couldn't take them to the next level. So what did the Detroit Lions expect? Dan Marino to show up? Joe Montana? John Elway? Patrick Mahomes? I mean, he's none of those guys.
He's throwing to guys named Khalif Raymond, Kadarrell Hodge, Tom Kennedy, Trinity Benson, Amon St. Brown.
He's throwing the trivia questions. That's what he's throwing to. Trivia questions.
Right.
You hear names like that, those are trivia question names. There's nothing wrong with Jared Goff. Dan Campbell is a meathead, period. I will
we knew
give
that
the
was gonna
Lions
fail.
credit for this. They play hard. They don't outsmart anybody. They play very simple football. They hit, they're physical, but in the NFL, you can't play man, dog bites man. You can't play like that. You have to be strategical. You have to be smart. You have to be nuanced. And they're none of that. They're just.
But think about this. They listen, here's who they've lost to. They lost to the 49ers. I think a lot of people thought the 49ers were going to be pretty good this year. Nobody realized that they were going to sit here. I think they're 2-3 right now. They lost to the Packers in Green Bay. The Packers are one of the best teams in the NFC for sure. Okay. They lost to the Ravens 19-17 on a 66-yard field goal that hit the crossbar and bounced in. And the Ravens today are likely considered the best team in the AFC. They lost to the Bears. Okay, look, the Bears are kind of middle of the pack.
Yes.
But still, they lost to the Vikings 19-17. It's not like the Vikings blew them out 34-0. And listen, even losing to the Cincinnati Bengals, which was their worst loss of the year, 34-11, you know, the Bengals are now in the playoff mix in the AFC, and they're a 4-2 football team.
Yes.
So I'm just looking at their schedule, and I'm saying it's hard to believe that anybody, because the league is, you know, everybody thinks it's a 50-50 thing. You know, everybody's kind of an 8-8 thing. But the Lions are starting all over. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback. And Alex, you just brought up they have no name brand players at the skill positions. So I watched Dan Campbell's press conference about Jared Goff, and I want to get to Dan Campbell's comments, and I want to get to Sean McVay's comments about the Jared Goff situation, because this whole conversation started with, I'm trying to get us Lions-Rams tickets, but I'm kind of with you guys. Believe it or not, I'd much rather see the Titans play the Rams, because I'm not that into this Lions-Goff homecoming of any sort. I don't think it's a big story. Not when they're 0-6.
I think it's a great game. I think it's a great game to go to, because that way, because the game's going to be so bad, we can go and check out the stadium. You know, if we go to the Titans-Rams game, we got to sit in our seat and watch a game. I feel like it's going to be a very good game.
I don't think we're going to be sitting in our seats, especially if we get crappy nosebleeds, because I'm telling you right now, the stadium is so cool, and there's bars on every level, and there's so many places. You might look in the stadium and go, wow, it doesn't look sold out, because nobody's in their seats up at the top, because there's so many places for people to hang out. Yeah, kind of like Petco. Yeah. All right, hold on. I'll get to this Dan Campbell sound, and I'll get to the Sean McVay sound here in just 1 minute. But let me have a second here to once again mention to you, I Thrive MD. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan is the website. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. That's the website to use. Here's a phone number, 858-240-1497. 858-240-1497. Look, I have been talking about the fact that I take testosterone injections. I've been talking about this for years. And I've been talking about how I thought my testosterone would be off the charts. It wasn't. Look, you probably aren't even thinking about this. Like, why am I not as interested in the bedroom as I once was? Why can't I perform the way I once did? Why do I feel foggy in my brain? Like I'm not clear and I'm not like just seeing things the way I was when I was a younger guy. Why do I feel like it's hard to get out of bed or even get off the couch? Why am I not working out the way I once was? Why is my body going through these changes? I feel flabby and weak. Guys, it could be low testosterone. Come get your testosterone levels checked at iThriveMD. It's free. Okay. Let them check your testosterone levels. If your testosterone, like mine, was low, then you start a treatment of testosterone. Now, Dr. Samir Damani and all of the medical professionals at iThriveMD, we had a whole conversation, and Dr. Damani said, Scott, I want you to tell people we'll give them 50% off because we want them to come in. We want to help them. Okay. We want them to live a longer and healthier life. But we'll do it for 50% savings for the first 3 months just to get guys through the door. So here's the deal. Normally, it's $289 a month for testosterone treatment. Now, $145 a month. It's insane. If ever there was a time that you've gone, I thought about it, I haven't done it, it's half price right now for the first 3 months, but you got to come in the month of October. Make an appointment, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. I'm telling you right now, the medical experts at iThriveMD are committed to improving your quality of life, your clarity, and making you once again the young man you were when your testosterone levels are right. That's what's going to happen. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Make an appointment, 858-240-1497. All right, Alex, show us and play for us. Those that are listening on radio, you'll hear it. Those that are watching on television or watching on YouTube, you'll see it. Here's the Lions coach, Dan Campbell, talking about Jared Goff. Play it.
I don't feel like we can accurately judge him one way or another. I don't feel that way yet. Now, I will say this. I feel like he needs to step up more than he has. And I think he needs to help us, just like everybody else. And I think he's going to need to put a little bit of weight on his shoulders here, and it's time to step up, make some throws, and do some things. And but he needs help. He needs help.
I mean, listen, time for him to step up. What do you think's happening here? Do you think that? Let me ask you a question. Did
you see that play? Did you see the play on fourth down? It was a very one specific play. I don't know if this is what he's talking about. It was fourth down, and there's really nobody open. But you know what Jared Goff does? He threw it away. He threw it away on fourth down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
So let's not act like Jared Goff is blameless here either.
Of course
okay?
not.
No. Of
No.
course he's. But let me ask you a question. Aren't they all in this together? The head coach is a first-year guy. How do we evaluate him? The offensive coordinator is a guy that has very little experience. How do we evaluate him? The general manager hasn't provided Jared Goff with ample talent in the skill positions. How do we evaluate him? I mean, listen, again, if I told you that Patrick Mahomes was going to be the quarterback of the Detroit Lions right now, what would their record be? Would they be 6-0, 5-1?
It'd be 1-5.
Really?
3-3.
Look, man, when it came time for the Lions to draft, all but Jamar Chase from a skill position perspective, and the kid that the Falcons took were available. That means all the Alabama wide receivers. There were people out there that they could have got for Jared Goff to throw to. They didn't. They took a left tackle. So like Penei Sewell. So like Dan Campbell, you got to do better too, bro. Like what are we doing here? What are we doing? Because you're outmatched as a coach every Sunday. You're not putting out you're not outsmarting nobody, dog. So for you to call out Jared Goff, I get it. Everybody needs to do better when you owe and fill in the blank. But come on, man.
I got to say this too about Dan Campbell. When we played his introductory press conference, I declared it at that moment, he will be terrible. Those coaches do not work in
Not
the NFL
anymore.
in 2021. We're going to bite their ankles and we're going to crush their faces and we're going to overpower them. They don't work, man. They don't work in the NFL nowadays. Look who works. The young guys. The guys that are not these old school, like rough and tough, rowdy. Come on, get out of here with that stuff. Be a good coach. Learn a little
Yes.
bit of analytics. Try
Yes.
some new things. Because this
How about-
Dan
how about
Campbell tough
stock
guy
your
stuff's not
roster?
working, man.
Yeah, how about stock your roster with players that can actually help you and can help your. I'm not opposed to picking a left tackle with a first round draft choice, but you listed off the names of the wide receivers, and honestly, I've never heard any of those guys.
But you've heard of Jalen Waddle. Like you've heard of Devontae Smith. You've heard of Henry Ruggs. Like you've heard of these dudes. But yeah, and I'm not against them taking Penei Sewell either, because I think that's a solid pick. But then you can't turn around and say, well, he's got to make better plays when nobody can get open on fourth down.
Dude,
Like,
it's
come on. Like, what are we?
It's the
What are we
first
doing
year
with this guy?
It's the first year with this kid with the left tackle. It's the first year with the quarterback. First year with the head coach. First year with the offensive coordinator. It's starting from ground zero.
If
What
you
did you
didn't
think they were
expect-
going to be?
If you didn't expect anything from the from the Houston Texans, then you shouldn't have expected anything from the Detroit Lions.
All right,
Period.
hold on. Let's talk more about a lot of NFL stuff that we're going to get to. Stick around, everybody. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. It's Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Rich Eisen here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rich Eisen Show, on our flagship radio station, the mightier 1090. We're on every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You'll like what you hear. If not, that's just, I guess, too bad.
A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Are you or someone you love living with dementia? Get free support from the experts at Alzheimer's San Diego. Visit alzsd.org or call 858-492-4400.
Great googly movie.
Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower, because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis, and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why Teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Hey, Dave Smith here. Make sure you listen to my show on the Mightier 1090, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday night. The only local sports talk in all of Southern California on the weekends, right here on the Mightier 1090.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
My name is John Alicio, and I'm managing partner of Procopio. Procopio is the largest San Diego-based law firm, and we're proud to be a part of this event, the Salute to Teachers. Without the teachers, none of us would have had the success we've had. You know, our firm consists of about 200 professionals and 200 attorneys, so a total of 400 mostly San Diego-educated professionals. Without you, we'd not be winning the cases we win as we go toe-to-toe with the best attorneys in the world. So thank you on behalf of Procopio for what you do and how you do it. And a special personal thanks to my alma mater, Valhalla High School, and the teachers at that school. Without you, I would not have had the personal success I have had. So from Procopio, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Salute.
It was a night to remember as we honored the best teachers in San Diego. There was dancing. There was music. There were teachers. There was also this bit of genius.
This honor is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Watch Cox present Salute to Teachers only on Your View.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
San Diego State football is 6-0 after a double overtime win against San Jose State last Saturday. Neither the Aztecs nor the Spartans scored a touchdown in regulation play. In fact, it wasn't until overtime that SDSU's offense finally clicked. Quarterback Lucas Johnson was able to find wide receiver Jesse Matthews in both overtimes to help lead the Aztecs to a win to remain undefeated. SDSU now sits at number 22 in the AP poll. They are one of 11 teams to remain unbeaten. Interesting fact here, head coach Brady Hoke is now the only active coach to start 6-0 with 3 different FBS programs. Next up for the Aztecs, they'll take on Air Force this Saturday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats.
He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Goes, holds it in. What a catch. Return left sidelines off to the races.
He flips the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcats. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season. Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight. Powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Great friends, it is a Tuesday afternoon. We welcome you back to the 7 Mile Casino Studios here of Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man. For those of you that are listening right now on the mightier 1090, blasting on the airwaves throughout Southern California, happy to have all of our radio listeners here. Great friends to you guys. And to everybody that's watching on our YouTube channel right now and is involved in our YouTube chat, I always tell you, you guys are the heart and soul of what we do. We appreciate you guys being there, watching, listening, multitasking, involved in the chat. Shout out to all of the YouTube chatters that are out there. And tonight, if you're watching on television, like right now, you're sitting in front of your TV, and I know there's a lot of competition on television, especially on a night like tonight where the NBA is tipping off, and we'll get to that story in a second. As always, you can catch the full show at youtube.com/Kaplan and Crew, youtube.com/Kaplan and Crew. This segment is being brought to us by iThrive MD. Remember, make your appointment 858-240-1497. You're getting 50% savings on testosterone treatments for your first 3 months, but you need to get an appointment and you need to see the medical professionals at iThrive MD in the month of October. 858-240-1497 or ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Hey guys, before we get on to some other stuff, just to wrap up the whole Jared Goff returns to face the Rams thing. You know, we heard from Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Have you guys noticed that all of a sudden Sean McVay this week, he never really got into too much detail about Goff, never wanted to knock Goff, didn't really have a whole lot to say about the situation. But now all of a sudden, here it is this week, Jared Goff is coming back to town, and you know, you got a guy like Sean McVay saying that he thinks the Rams fans will welcome Jared Goff home. Yeah, they'll welcome him home. Yay. Yay, Jared Goff. Yay. We are so happy you're no longer a Rams quarterback, because now we see what the Rams look like with Matthew Stafford. And you, Jared Goff, are unfortunately finding out what Matthew Stafford already knew, which was there are certain franchises where you can put up big numbers and you could have a Hall of Fame caliber statistical career, and for some reason, you just can't win. You can't find a way into the postseason. In fact, you know, Alex, I remember a few years ago, Detroit was playing a playoff game at Seattle, and it may have been the only game that Stafford ever played in the postseason with Detroit, maybe one other time. But I was there for that game, and I remember, you know, Seattle won the game. But I thought to myself, this is so strange. Like, I'm doing a Detroit Lions, Seattle Seahawks playoff game. Jared Goff's going to find out, man. It's no fun.
Yeah, and of course, now Sean McVay's comfortable talking about it because he sent the guy to die. You know, like what does he care now? Like, I got my guy. We're 5-1. We're doing awesome. Rams fans love me, and now they see, like, now you can just point and see, like, see, wasn't my fault. Look at Jared Goff. He's over there. Look how bad he is. Like, of course you can talk about it now because the trade worked.
Would you rather be a backup quarterback on a good team or a starting quarterback on a terrible team?
Start on a terrible team. Start on a terrible team every day of the week. No thanks to the backup portion of it. If you're Jared Goff and you're coming back, the Rams people are going to look at you, and of course they're going to be happy to see you. You're not a threat to them. You don't play for the 49ers. You don't play for a contender. You're a dude who took us to the Super Bowl, who we felt like you couldn't get us over the top, so we moved on from you. No hard feelings. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Here's a mimosa.
Yeah, good Sunday morning to you. Welcome back. Here's what Sean McVay, the coach of the Rams, said. I mean, he's been talking about it, but let's take a listen. We heard from Dan Campbell that Jared Goff needs to step up. Yeah, he does. And if I were Jared Goff, you know what I would do? I would take that Dan Campbell line, he's got to step up, and I go, okay, you got it. I'm going to start being a dick. Like, we all watched the Dallas Cowboys and the Hard Knocks series, and I think most of us came away with, Dak Prescott is a dick. But you know what? He's got his team at 5-1 and right in the middle of playoff contention. And many people all of a sudden think the Dallas Cowboys are one of the better teams in the NFC, and statistically and record-wise they are. But it just requires not being such a sweetheart all the time. If I were Jared Goff, I'd be like, yo, I hate it here. I think this coaching staff stinks. I think this roster stinks. So guess what? I'm going to just go out there and let it fly. But here's what Sean McVay said about welcoming back Jared Goff.
So to answer your question, Gary, yes, I wish that there was better, clear communication. You don't want to catch guys off guard. It came together a lot faster than anybody anticipated. But yeah, of course, I think that anytime that tough decisions and things like that where people are affected, you always want to be as understanding, as empathetic as possible. Think about it through the other person's lens. And there's certainly things that, I know I would do it a little bit differently if I, when those situations arise in the future. But I think Jared knows the respect that I have for him. I feel very good about the dialogue that we were able to have, before he had gone to Detroit. He knows the appreciation that we as an organization, that I have as a coach, for all the good things that he did here. But to say that it was perfectly handled on my end, I wouldn't be totally accurate in that. But I'll never claim to be perfect, but I will try to learn from some things that I can do better. And I think that was one of them, without a doubt.
Yeah, you don't even have to do damage control this week, Coach. You really don't. It's the NFL.
He likes Jared.
But the NFL is a cutthroat business.
Right.
Yes.
And you know what? We determined as a franchise, we got to get better at this position. Most people thought we were locked in because of the contract that we gave him, over $30+ million a year. They gave him that contract very early in his career. After
Going away present.
And you know what? They did him a big favor. And he ultimately, so what? They didn't call him. They didn't talk to him. They didn't pat him on the back. They didn't hug him on the way out the door. They had to do what they had to do. And Goff still gets his money. And even though he's going to take a beating and he's going to play for a terrible franchise, Jared Goff is going to understand now what Matthew Stafford understood for his entire career, what Phillip Rivers pretty much understood his entire career. You can be a great individual player. You can put up lots of numbers. But if the franchise doesn't support you, you ain't going anywhere.
Two things about Sean McVay's press conference. One, that's a man that does not need to be drinking monster drinks, which he was. Like,
Slow down,
don't need
brother.
it, Coach. You're
I
good.
didn't see that. I didn't see it. Was it on his desk? Did I just miss it?
He was drinking it in between questions.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. You guys didn't see it there. And
Yeah.
secondly, he was asked, will it be awkward to talk to Goff on Sunday? And he said, no, this is a business where you talk to former players every single week. Like, it is what it is. So there you go.
Yeah. And by the way, you don't burn bridges really in any business because you just never know when things will come back. I mean, here's an example for you. Can you imagine that Derek Carr is working with his offensive coordinator, Greg Olson of the Raiders? And remember, Greg Olson was the Raiders offensive coordinator when Derek Carr was drafted into the NFL. And so you don't burn bridges because you never know when player and coach may come across each other again and even have to work together again. So listen, I think it's an interesting story in that Goff was drafted number 1 overall by the Rams. He got to a Super Bowl with the Rams. He got hurt and wasn't going to start in the playoffs for the Rams. And one series into the game, the backup quarterback is hurt, and Goff comes in just having had surgery. And I think Jared Goff played a really good game that night against Seattle. And listen, don't get me wrong, he wasn't perfect. But, man, Jared Goff, it is to go from L.A. and forget about living conditions and forget about weather and all this other nonsense. Just to go from one franchise to that franchise, brutal, man.
I would like to also tell Dan Campbell, bench Jared Goff. Go for it. Enjoy David Bluff.
That was going to be my next comment. To cap this off, if Dan Campbell thinks benching Jared Goff is the answer, buddy, you really don't need to be an NFL head coach, because what you got after him is 10 times worse than what you got now. And again, what you got now ain't bad. You just ain't got nobody to throw to him.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I know this homecoming game is, I think they're making more out of this thing than really needs to be made. But, these are
Lions
the
better not
storylines.
win this game. I know that.
Could you imagine if the Lions come here and win? Could you imagine if the Lions
just light it up
on SoFi Field Stadium, Jared Goff sticks it to Sean McVay and wins this game, shows up with a head coach that wants to bite ankles, an offensive coordinator that's returning for the first time in that stadium with fans in the stands, with a receiving core that no one's ever heard of before, and Jared Goff shocks the world and beats the Rams. Now that would be a great story.
That would hurt. That would hurt a lot.
Yeah,
That would hurt.
It really would. It really would. Hey, listen, before we move on, because I do want to get to a bunch of other stories today, including the NBA's tip-off, and coming up next, I really want to talk about Fernando Tatis and what his decision, we'll talk about it, means to the Padres. I'll get to all of that coming up quickly. But hey, Alex, since we're talking about, the AFC, the NFC, who's good, who's not good, and we'll talk about this with John Clayton a little bit later on. Can you put up, I saw a question posted on Cited. I'm not sure who on our team actually posted this and wrote it, but there was a good couple of questions on Cited about who are the better teams now in both conferences. Here it is. So if you listen, for those of you that are longtime listeners and longtime viewers, you know that I have this platform. It's called Cited. The website is cited.co, and that's for users like you and me to get on there and play and opine and debate and thumbs up and thumbs down and climb the leaderboard and, gain status in the community. You can download the mobile app, Cited Debates on Apple, Cited Debates for Google. So it's there for you. Have fun with it, enjoy it, and use it because we built it for you. But the question was, who's the best team right now through 6 weeks in the NFC? So I'll throw it to you guys. Who would you vote for? Tampa at 5-1. It says LAC, so that should be LAR. That should be the Rams. So there's a mistake there. But is it Tampa? Baby. Is it the Rams? Is it Dallas? Is it Arizona? Is it Green Bay? Who's the best team in the NFC right now? How would you vote, Browner?
That's not even the team with the 0 next to their name. The Cardinals. The Cardinals have been the best team in the NFL, period. Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay, so they're 6-0 versus other teams that are 5-1. Alex, how would you vote? Would you also go Arizona as the best team in the NFC?
Yeah. I just have a hard time saying they are the best because I like to see teams do it first, but they just go out there every week, and I just think they're the most explosive offense, and their defense is good enough. So at the moment, probably.
Okay, I'd vote for Tampa Bay myself. So you guys outvoted me. So go ahead, vote for Arizona, and let's see what the
Why
fans
would you
say
vote
so
Tampa
far.
Bay?
Yeah, they lost
Well,
to the
first
Rams,
of all-
who lost to the Cardinals.
Well, but
Chain of
look,
command.
here's the thing. So far, just by the way, if you look at that on the screen, people seem to agree with me. 45% of people agree that Tampa Bay is the best team in the NFC.
Explain yourself.
Arizona not far behind at 37% almost. And the
Clippers.
Rams at 18. Well, it says LAC. It should say LAR, I suppose. I guess, Browner, for me, I'm kind of with Alex. It's like I know Arizona's 6-0. I know they've got an explosive player at quarterback. I know they've added talent to defense. I know that they've got a really great wide receiving core. They've even added running backs. It's just that I'm waiting to see it. Through 6 weeks, if you had to ask me who's the best team in the NFC, I'll still take Brady and the Bucs. That's why I would vote
You
for
got to
Tampa
watch
Bay.
more Cardinals football.
Yeah, even after what they did to Cleveland without their head coach, like
I watched that game. I watched it.
They beat Tennessee as well. They beat the hell out of Tennessee, actually. Like
Mm-hmm.
they've had really good wins that no one is talking about, and I think that's the part about it when they're 6-0, and people going, well, who'd they beat? Like they don't have like Dallas's record, or they don't have the Rams, who the Rams have played. Like they've beat really good teams. So I don't really know what people are waiting for to get on the bandwagon.
There's always like one team that creeps up at the end of the year to everybody, and that's the Cardinals this year. Like, Kyler Murray's doing everything, if not better, that Lamar Jackson's doing.
Yes.
The Cardinals have an explosive receiving core. The only problem is like their running backs, but even James Conner's been pretty good when Chase Edmonds been out. They have J.J. Watt. They have Chandler Jones. Like they have a legitimate defensive line. I just think that they don't get a lot of national play, and they won't. So I think they're going to creep up on teams later on in the year. I really do.
Yeah, and that's why I think, again, for me, I know that Brady and the Bucs are the defending champs and have everybody back. And even though they have one loss, which came to the Rams, and to your point, Alex, the Rams then lost to Arizona. Why wouldn't you immediately?
By Arizona.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you immediately say Arizona's the best team? Well, it's the difference between 5-1 and 6-0. And if I had to put my money on Arizona or Tampa Bay right now, I'd put my money on Tampa Bay.
But
How
Tampa
about
Bay
the
has
AFC
no
side?
secondary.
That is true. And even Richard Sherman, who they got, off the street, played in like a half a game and immediately was hurt.
Exploded his hamstring.
Right. Which, by the way, for him,
in court all day.
Yeah, I mean, well, for him, he's probably like, hey, look, at least I'm, if I was unemployed and I got hurt, that's no good. At least I got a job and got hurt and they got to pay me now. So go to the AFC side of things, though. Go on the other side. This is back to Cited. The website is cited.co, but I say download the mobile app. Through the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, who's the best team in the AFC? Buffalo, Tennessee, the Chargers, Baltimore, Cincinnati, or Vegas. There's no undefeated team here on the AFC side. So, Browner, how would you vote?
Oof, I got to go with the Ravens as much as I want to go with the Chargers. I got to go with the Ravens because they just beat the Chargers, and the Ravens have really responded to everything that has happened to them this season. After dropping an opener to the Raiders, after all their defensive backs and running backs tore their ACLs in like an hour between each other, they really figured things out and just trying to plug in and plan. So I got to say the Ravens.
Alex, how would you vote?
Buffalo Bills. I know that they got Derrick Henry last night, but watching them, they have a great defense that just got
Mhm.
Derrick Henry last night. They have an explosive offense. They're the most consistent team. They just got Derrick Henry last night. That doesn't really deter me from saying that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC, and they will be in the AFC Championship game. I would put money on that.
Browner, would you have voted for Buffalo had they won last night over Baltimore?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I probably would have too. But given the way Baltimore destroyed the Chargers, and given the fact that Buffalo, who had a chance to win, didn't finish it off, I'll vote for Baltimore as well. So you got outvoted here, Alex. Let's vote for Baltimore and see what the fans think so far. Right now, Browner, you and I are in the majority. 45% say Baltimore, 27% say Buffalo, and 18% say the Chargers. So there you go. And again, I encourage everybody who's watching on television, everybody who's watching on YouTube, everybody who's listening on radio. The website is sided.co, but I strongly urge you to download the mobile apps for Apple or for Google. You can just search Sided Debates. That's where you find it. And you're going to start to see that as you visit sports websites, more and more websites are starting to embed sided questions like they embed tweets. And you'll start to see them in more and more websites. So get involved and help a brother out. Appreciate that. It's like Jim Harbaugh. Appreciate that. All right, there you go. All right, let me talk for a moment here. I want to get into Fernando Tatis. I want to talk about what his very outward decision means to his relationship with the Padres. I do want to get there. I'll get there in 1 second. Shout out to my people at Corky's Pest Control, 1-800-901-1102. If you were watching Monday Night Football last night, you might have seen a bunch of Corky's television ads. If you saw them, you know that Corky is encouraging you. You don't have to call us. We'd love for you to call. Don't get me wrong. We'd love for you to call. But if you want to find us, the easiest thing to do is just Google us. Google one word, Corky's. That's it. Not Corky's Pest Control, not San Diego Pest Control, nothing like that. Just Corky's, and that will get you directly to Corky's website. He's got a lot of information about bugs and insects and things that you might find on your property that you have questions about. It's a very educational site. He'll also tell you about deals that he has for you. So go to Corky's, just Google the word Corky's, and you'll get there. But if you're like me and you've got it memorized, well, then you can sing along. Call 1-800-901-1102.
Corky's.
Nice job, Brown. Appreciate that. So, guys, our man Fernando Tatis of the Padres is like the rest of us, sitting at home this afternoon, watching the Dodgers play the Braves, thinking to himself, what do we have to do to play at that
Is he doing
level? Well, I'm making it up.
Oh, I was going to say, damn, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fernando Tatis Jr. has now said publicly something that he said months ago publicly. He's not having his shoulder surgically repaired. He's going to exercise. He's going to diet properly. He's going to do physical therapy and rehab and whatever, but he isn't getting his shoulder cut open. And the reason it's important that the story is happening now is because according to the reports, if he were going to have surgery and he were going to be ready for next season, he has to do it like right now. So I'll throw it to you two guys. What does Fernando Tatis Jr. not having surgery on his shoulder tell you about how he feels about the Padres? I'm curious. Does it say anything to you?
No. I think he is terrified of getting surgery because once you get a surgery, your body is never the same. And I think that he feels like him and his people feel like they can manage their way through this, which we've seen this previous season that they probably cannot. But I think that he's more terrified of the actual surgery, of going through the process of surgery, than the prospect of the Padres front office giving them flack about it.
If he feels strong enough throughout the end of the season, I know he got hurt 2 or 3 times. I don't remember specifically, but if he feels strong enough at the end of the season, and he's like, why would I give myself 6 months of recovery when I feel fine?
Right.
Like I'm looking at Cody Bellinger having the worst season of his career. I know he's doing okay now, but all year he struggled with the same surgery. It's a diff. It's if I'm Tatis, I'm looking out for me. I'm not really putting the organization into the thought at all.
Well, see, I feel the same way. Like if I'm Tatis, they gave me a 14-year contract for $340 million. I'm getting that money no matter what.
Yeah. This
So
is an organization that also has like 20 guys with Tommy John. So
right, why am I going to let these guys cut into my body when
Right.
I'm 21 years old or 22, whatever he is? I got a long way to go here. I'd rather rehab and take my chances. Because Browner, you just said he probably can't get through the season, but he did get through the season. He got hurt in spring training. He got hurt swinging. He got hurt catching, diving. I mean, but yet he still played what I would call the way he plays, recklessly. And so if I'm him, I'm not doing it.
MVP type season.
Thank you. If I win the MVP with what's going on with me, I'm cool.
Played
I'll tell you
130
what I need.
games. 130 games.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I need.
Yeah. I listen to me. I think it's a bold statement by a young guy. You're not telling me what to do with my body. Hey, we'll get more into this. And I want to transition into the NBA, which is tipping off tonight. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Stick around, everybody.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Hey, it's Pharrell here, inviting you to catch my shows on the Mightier 1090. We're on twice every Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, all the other sports stations are sleeping with your wife.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams-Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats.
He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Goes, holds it in. What a catch. Return left sidelines, off to the races.
He flipped the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Catch all the action as Helix takes on Granite Hills October 29th at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
It was a night to remember as we honored the best teachers in San Diego. There was dancing. There was music. There were teachers. There was also this bit of genius.
This honor is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Watch Cox presents Salute to Teachers only on YourView.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
San Diego State football is 6-0 after a double overtime win against San Jose State last Saturday. Neither the Aztecs nor the Spartans scored a touchdown in regulation play. In fact, it wasn't until overtime that SDSU's offense finally clicked. Quarterback Lucas Johnson was able to find wide receiver Jesse Matthews in both overtimes to help lead the Aztecs to a win to remain undefeated. SDSU now sits at number 22 in the AP poll. They are one of 11 teams to remain unbeaten. Interesting fact here, head coach Brady Hoke is now the only active coach to start 6-0 with 3 different FBS programs. Next up for the Aztecs, they'll take on Air Force this Saturday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView.
Rosh
Rosh Markazi here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rosh Markazi Show, on the Mightier 1090. We are on every Monday through Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join me and producer extraordinaire G. Wiley, where we chop up Los Angeles sports and try not to piss too many people off.
The all-new and Mightier 1090.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at LaMesaRehab.com.
COVID vaccines are safe, convenient, and free, and they are effective at protecting you against the coronavirus. I'm Dr. Akilah Weber, a pediatric gynecologist and state assembly member, and I got the vaccine to protect my family. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and everyone who receives the vaccine helps us get one step closer to returning to normal. Go get your vaccine today. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a site near you. Do it for yourself, your family, and for our community.
Live soccer is back. Watch Orange County Soccer Club, OC's highest level of professional soccer, live on YourView. Watch Orange County SC take on the San Diego Loyal SC Wednesday, October 20th at 7. Watch world-class players and future stars. Transform your summer with the new family game night and outdoor fun all season long. Live soccer is back. Orange County SC versus the San Diego Loyal SC Wednesday, October 20th at 7 on YourView.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post-9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us in sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Save the Stork is an organization that equips pregnancy resource centers across the nation so that these pregnancy resource centers can reach more women facing unplanned pregnancies and provide them with holistic care, compassionate choices, and just an abundance of resources to support their decision to choose life. Save the Stork has been around for about 10 years. Most people know us by our Stork buses. A Stork bus is a mobile medical unit that's equipped with the state-of-the-art medical equipment as well as very knowledgeable and experienced medical professionals.
The buses enable them to reach areas where maybe there's not a pregnancy care center nearby. We are here to walk this journey with you so that you're not alone and to help you find your heart. in all of this. And that means and that you're going to make a choice that is truly going to be something that years from now you're going to be proud of.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YourView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.